The day the ships appeared in Earth's sky, Director Taeho Kim of the International Space Coalition stood frozen at his office window. The alien vessels hovered silently over major cities, their hulls reflecting sunlight with an odd shimmer that no human material could produce. News channels worldwide showed the same scenes, crowds gathering in streets, pointing upward in wonder and fear. Military jets circled the ships at a respectful distance, but made no aggressive moves. "Sir, they're broadcasting on all frequencies," said Mina, his assistant, her voice trembling slightly. On the screen, a figure appeared. Humanoid, but with blue-tinted skin and eyes too large for a human face. "People of Earth," it said in carefully practiced English. "I am Admiral Darrow of the Galactic Confederation. Your civilization has reached the threshold for first contact." 3 days later, Taeho found himself sitting across from alien representatives in a hastily prepared conference room at United Nations headquarters. Ambassador Jaiwo Park led the human delegation, her calm demeanor hiding the nervousness they all felt. "The Confederation includes over 200 spacefaring species," explained Morrow, the science liaison. His translator device gave his words a flat, mechanical quality. "We have established protocols for welcoming new species into the galactic community." "And these protocols include technology sharing?" Ambassador Park asked. "Limited sharing, yes," Morrow replied. "We must be careful not to overwhelm your systems with advanced concepts. Cultural shock has destroyed promising species before." Taeho noticed something odd in Morrow's expression, a slight tightening around the eyes that didn't match his friendly words. But with alien facial expressions, who could tell for certain? In the weeks that followed, Earth celebrated. World leaders signed preliminary agreements with the Confederation. Scientists received the first technology packages, improvements to solar energy collection, more efficient recycling methods, and basic anti-gravity principles. Dr. Hyan Lee, Earth's leading xenotechnology analyst and an old friend of Taeho's, was less excited than most. "These designs are oddly inefficient," she told him during a late-night meeting in his office. "It's as if they've deliberately complicated the systems." "Could it be a translation issue?" Taeho asked. "No. Look here." She pointed to schematics for the fusion reactor the aliens had shared. "They've added 3 conversion steps that serve no purpose. I could make this more efficient with our current knowledge alone." Taeho frowned. "Why would they give us substandard technology while claiming it's advanced?" His question found a partial answer a week later at a reception held at Seoul Spaceport. While getting a drink, Taeho overheard 2 Confederation officials speaking to each other, unaware that their translator devices were still active. "Their adaptive capacity exceeds initial projections by 40%, one said. "The Science Directorate is concerned." "Has the containment protocol been approved?" asked the other. "Yes. Resource extraction remains the priority. The humans will receive only approved technology packages. Their creativity could destabilize established hierarchies if left unchecked." Taeho managed to maintain his neutral expression despite his racing heart. He casually moved away, mind working quickly. The aliens weren't allies, they were handlers, keeping humanity leashed. The next day, he called Dr. Lee. "I need you to check something for me," he said. "Compare our theoretical models for quantum communication with what the Confederation has shown us." 3 days later, Dr. Lee's findings confirmed his fears. "Our theories were actually more advanced in several areas," she reported. "When I mentioned this to Liaison Morrow, he dismissed our work as primitive speculation, but then I caught him copying our equations." Taeho made his decision. That night, he contacted trusted colleagues in key positions around the world: military, science, intelligence. They met in a secure underground facility, away from potential Confederation monitoring. "They've classified us as a potentially destabilizing species," Taeho explained to the small group. "Everything they've given us has been designed to keep us dependent and controllable." "But why?" asked Commander Juno Kong of Earth Intelligence. "What threat could we pose to them?" "Our creativity," said Dr. Lee. "Humans solve problems in ways they don't expect. It frightens them." Ambassador Park, who had joined their secret coalition, shook her head in anger. "We respected their protocols. We held back our potential because we believed we were being welcomed as equals. Taeho looked around the room at Earth's brightest minds. For now, we play along. We smile and thank them for their gifts. But meanwhile, we prepare. We learn everything we can about them, while developing our own technologies in secret. He stood up, determination hardening his features. They expect us to stay obediently in our place. They don't realize that humans have never been good at staying where we're put. The others nodded in agreement. Earth's real first contact story was just beginning. 6 months after first contact, Commander Juno Kong sat in his darkened office, studying alien text that scrolled across his screen. Few humans could read the Confederation language yet, but Juno had always shown an unusual gift for languages. What he read now made his blood run cold. Humans classified as potentially destabilizing species, the document stated. High innovation rate and unpredictable social structures present integration risks. Recommended action, controlled integration with resource extraction priority. Juno downloaded the files to a secure drive and contacted Director Kim immediately. That night, the growing human coalition gathered in an underground facility beneath an old military base. The room was secured against all known surveillance methods, both human and alien. It's worse than we thought, Juno said, displaying translated documents on the wall screen. They've been lying about everything. Ambassador Park read the alien text, her face growing darker with each line. They're treating Earth like a resource mine, she said finally. They have no intention of making us full members of their confederation. Dr. Hyan Lee pointed to another section. Look here. They've identified our creativity as dangerous. They call it chaotic problem solving and consider it a threat to their order. But why? Asked General Min Soo-yoon, who represented Earth's unified defense forces. What are they so afraid of? Juno pulled up another document. This report analyzes human history. They're fascinated by how quickly we developed technology despite our conflicts. Their species took 3 times longer to achieve similar results. Dr. Sun Woo Choi, who had been analyzing Confederation communication systems, stood up. That matches what I've found. Their basic quantum entanglement technology is actually inferior to our theoretical models. But they dismissed our research while secretly copying our equations. Ambassador Park slammed her fist on the table. They've been playing us for fools. Director Kim looked thoughtful. Not just that. They've been carefully managing our development, taking our best ideas while making sure we remain dependent on them. There's more, Juno said quietly. He displayed images of Earth ships leaving the planet. They're taking our resources. Rare minerals, biological samples, water. The trade agreements we signed give them almost unlimited access. The room fell silent as they absorbed this betrayal. What about the other species? General Yoon asked. Are they all part of this deception? Juno shook his head. I don't think so. Some of these documents suggest several newer species are treated similarly. The Confederation has an inner circle that controls everything. Director Kim stood up and walked slowly around the table. For centuries, humanity dreamed of meeting aliens. We imagined sharing knowledge, forming friendships across the stars. He stopped and looked at each person in turn. Instead, we found space colonizers who see us as primitives to be exploited. What can we do? Dr. Lee asked. Their technology is still far beyond ours in many areas. But not all areas, Dr. Choi reminded them. And they've underestimated how quickly we can learn. Director Kim nodded. That's their weakness. They think we're just accepting everything they tell us. They don't realize we've been watching closely. Ambassador Park smiled for the first time that evening. And they certainly don't know about this group. We need more information, Juno said. I've identified key access points in their systems. With Dr. Choi's help, I believe we can extract more classified data. I can create a team to analyze their technology in depth, Dr. Lee added. Finding the real science behind their watered-down gifts to us. General Yoon leaned forward. My people can assess their military capabilities. So far, they've only shown us their civilian ships. And I'll continue to play the grateful diplomat, Ambassador Park said with a hard edge to her voice. They'll never suspect I know the truth. Director Kim looked at the determined faces around him. These were Earth's finest, brilliant, dedicated, and now unified by a common purpose. We respected their supposed wisdom, he said quietly. We held back our potential because we believed their lies about gradual integration. We thought we were being welcomed as equals. His voice grew stronger. That ends now. From this moment, humanity works for humanity. As they filed out of the secret chamber, each person carried a piece of the growing plan. Dr. Lee would lead the technology division. Juno and Dr. Choi would gather intelligence. General Yoon would assess defense options. Ambassador Park would be their smiling face to the Confederation. And Director Kim would coordinate it all, building Earth's true first contact response not with open arms, but with open eyes. Outside the base, Confederation ships cruised peacefully overhead, their crews never suspecting that beneath the polite smiles and grateful acceptance, humanity was beginning to bare its teeth. For 2 years, humanity prepared in silence. Every meeting with the Confederation representatives became an intelligence-gathering operation. Every technology demonstration was carefully analyzed for weaknesses. Earth's nations, once divided by old rivalries, found unity in their common purpose. In a secret facility beneath the Gobi Desert, Dr. Hyan Lee stood before a gleaming silver spacecraft unlike anything publicly known to exist on Earth. The Confederation would never believe we built this, she said proudly as Director Kim walked around the vessel. That's exactly why it will work, Kim replied. They think we're still struggling with their outdated fusion designs. The ship represented the heart of humanity's silent rebellion. By combining reverse-engineered Confederation technology with human innovation, Dr. Lee's team had created something new, something that outperformed the aliens' own systems. The propulsion system is twice as efficient as what they showed us, Dr. Lee explained. And the stealth features use principles they never imagined we'd discover. How many can we build? Kim asked. With current resources? About 50 within the next 6 months. We have production cells hidden in abandoned mines and underwater facilities worldwide. Kim nodded, pleased. The Confederation counts our official ships and thinks they know our capabilities. They have no idea what's happening underground. Across the world, similar secret projects progressed. In Antarctica, scientists developed communication systems that could bypass Confederation monitoring. In abandoned oil platforms repurposed as research stations, engineers built weapons that could penetrate alien shields. Commander Juno Khan led perhaps the most dangerous operation, placing human operatives throughout the Confederation's infrastructure. Using the visitor exchange program that supposedly helped humans learn about galactic society, Juno had carefully selected and trained personnel to gather critical information. Their security is surprisingly basic in some areas, Juno explained during a secure briefing. They're so convinced of their technological superiority that they don't even encrypt communications about Earth. They assume we can't access their networks. On the screen behind him, a map showed human operatives positioned throughout Confederation space, maintenance workers on space stations, assistants to alien officials, crew members on transport ships. We now have eyes and ears at 17 key installations, Juno continued. Including their Central Military Command and the Science Directorate responsible for Earth's development program. Ambassador Park, who maintained her role as Earth's friendly face to the aliens, smiled coldly. And they suspect nothing? They see what they expect to see, Juno replied. Grateful, somewhat primitive humans eager to learn from their betters. In orbit around Jupiter, hidden from Confederation sensors by technology of Earth's own design, a fleet took shape. General Yoon had named the flagship the Defiance, a name that resonated with the crews who worked tirelessly to bring it to life. The stealth system is holding, reported Captain Minji Seo as a Confederation patrol ship passed by, completely unaware of the human vessels hiding in Jupiter's radiation belts. They still think this is just an automated research station. The fleet grew ship by ship, week by week. Unlike the clunky, inefficient designs the Confederation had gifted to Earth, these vessels were sleek, fast, and deadly. Dr. Sun Woo Choi, meanwhile, had made perhaps the most crucial breakthrough of all. In his laboratory beneath Seoul, he had developed a system that could temporarily disable Confederation technology without affecting human systems. It's based on a fundamental flaw in their approach to quantum field manipulation, he explained to Director Kim. A flaw they don't know exists because they've been using the same basic principles for centuries without questioning them. Kim watched as Dr. Choi demonstrated the device on a piece of Confederation technology. The alien device flickered and went dead while the human equipment nearby continued functioning perfectly. "We can deploy this through their communication network," Dr. Choi said. "One signal, and their weapons go offline across an entire system." Kim nodded slowly, understanding the implications. They've been so focused on controlling our development that they never considered we might find weaknesses in their own technology. As Earth's secret preparations neared completion, Director Kim gathered the leaders of the human coalition for a final review. The underground chamber was filled with quiet determination. "We only get one chance to surprise them," Kim reminded his team. "When we reveal ourselves, it must be decisive." Ambassador Park looked at the battle plans, the fleet schematics, the intelligence reports. "The Confederation believes they're watching a caged animal," she said. "They're about to discover they've been living with a tiger that was simply biding its time." Kim nodded. 2 more weeks. Then we show the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of. The Grand Convocation of the Galactic Confederation happened once every 5 years. Representatives from 200 species gathered at the massive space station that served as the Confederation's capital. For the first time, Earth had been invited to send observers, a sign, the aliens claimed, of humanity's promising progress. Ambassador Jaiwoo Park led the small human delegation. She wore a simple blue suit, her face a mask of appropriate humility and gratitude. No one watching would guess that beneath her calm exterior, she carried the hopes of a planet ready to break its chains. High Chancellor Vex, a tall being with gray skin and 6 fingers on each hand, opened the ceremony with a speech about unity and progress. "The Confederation continues its sacred mission," he announced to the gathered representatives. "Guiding younger species toward maturity, maintaining the balance that has brought 10,000 years of peace to our galaxy." From her observer seat at the back of the Great Chamber, Ambassador Park exchanged a glance with her aide. The signal from Earth had just arrived, and Director Kim's fleet was in position. As High Chancellor Vex concluded his speech about the patient nurturing of developing worlds, Ambassador Park did something unprecedented. She stood up. "The Earth delegation requests the floor," she said, her voice carrying through the vast chamber. A murmur of surprise rippled through the assembly. Observer delegations never spoke at convocations. "This is most irregular," said High Chancellor Vex, frowning. "But in the spirit of inclusion, we will allow it." Ambassador Park walked calmly to the central platform. The eyes of the galaxy watched her with curiosity. "The Confederation speaks of guidance and protection," she began, her voice steady. "You talk of nurturing developing worlds and sharing the benefits of advanced civilization. These are beautiful words." She paused, looking around the chamber. "But we have discovered the truth behind these words." The chamber erupted as Park activated her device. On the massive screens around the hall, classified Confederation documents appeared, the same ones Commander Juno had discovered 2 years earlier. "For 3 years, you have lied to us," Park continued as security personnel moved toward her. "You classified humanity as a threat. You deliberately provided outdated technology while harvesting Earth's resources and stealing our innovations." High Chancellor Vex's face darkened with anger. "This display is inappropriate. Security, remove the Earth delegation immediately." But when the guards reached for their weapons, nothing happened. Their communication devices were silent. The chamber's doors remained locked. On the main screen, Director Taeho Kim's face appeared. He sat on the bridge of the Defiance, Earth's hidden flagship. "For 3 years, we have been patient," he said calmly. "We have been respectful. We have held back." The view screen shifted to show Earth's hidden fleet emerging from Jupiter's shadow, 50 ships of a design no Confederation engineer had ever seen. "We won't anymore," Kim finished. The chamber exploded into chaos. Species that had never seen humans as a threat suddenly faced the possibility that they had gravely underestimated these newcomers. High Chancellor Vex struggled to maintain control. This rebellious display changes nothing. Your primitive vessels are no match for Confederation defenses. This childish tantrum will be met with appropriate sanctions. Ambassador Park smiled for the first time. Perhaps you should check your defensive systems, Chancellor. Around the chamber, communication devices beeped urgently. Military representatives received alarming reports. Weapon systems across nearby Confederation space had mysteriously gone offline. We've already disabled the defense systems on this station and 17 of your nearby outposts, Director Kim explained from the screen. We could have done much worse. The screens changed again, showing human operatives throughout Confederation space, standing by at critical infrastructure, power plants, communication hubs, space docks. This is not a declaration of war, Kim continued. It's a demand for honest negotiation. Ambassador Park faced the stunned assembly. For too long, the Confederation has divided species into rulers and subjects. You decided humanity belonged in the second category and tried to ensure we stayed there. She gestured to the documents still displayed on some screens. These show how you've done the same to at least 12 other species in recent centuries. Together, we now demand change. From around the chamber, representatives of younger species watched with growing interest. Many had suspected their own integration had been similarly manipulated. The Confederation has two choices, Park concluded. Continue as an empire that restricts its members' potential, or transform into a true alliance of equals. High Chancellor Vex's voice shook with rage. You cannot dictate terms to the Confederation. This is unprecedented. Yes, agreed Ambassador Park. That's exactly the point. Humanity does not follow your precedents. We make our own path. She smiled at the assembly. And we invite any species who wishes for true freedom to join us. Throughout the chamber, representatives of a dozen worlds stood up one by one, their silence more powerful than words. The Confederation battlecruiser Relentless dropped out of faster-than-light travel with weapons charged, leading a fleet of 30 warships. Captain Zeno had clear orders: demonstrate the consequences of defiance to the humans and their sympathizers. Target the Earth vessel and prepare to fire, he commanded. But something was wrong. His tactical officer looked up in confusion. Sir, our targeting systems are not responding. Weapons are offline. Before Captain Zeno could process this information, 3 human ships appeared, seemingly from nowhere. They had no right to be so fast, so maneuverable. The Confederation had made sure of that. Or so they had thought. On the bridge of the Defiance, General Min Su-yun watched calmly as the Confederation fleet struggled to restore their systems. They still don't understand, he said to his crew. They think it's a malfunction, not a fundamental flaw in their approach to quantum field technology. The general opened a channel to the Confederation flagship. This is General Yun of Earth Defense Forces. Your weapons will remain offline. We have no desire for conflict, but we will not return to subjugation. Across Confederation space, similar scenes played out as the truth became unavoidable. Humanity had not just caught up technologically, they had surpassed their would-be masters in several critical areas. 3 weeks after Ambassador Park's declaration at the Grand Convocation, the Confederation's ruling council requested emergency peace talks. Director Taeho Kim led the human delegation to the neutral space station where the negotiations would take place. Alongside Earth representatives came delegates from 30 former Confederation worlds, younger species who had suffered similar treatment and now stood with humanity. Human hybrid technology exceeds standard Confederation capabilities by 23%, admitted Science Director Lono in the opening session. The blue-skin alien could barely hide his amazement. Their innovation rate is unprecedented. Former High Chancellor Vex, now representing only the old guard of the Confederation, leaned forward with barely contained anger. And now you will use this advantage to dominate, just as you accused us of doing? Director Kim studied the alien leader for a long moment. The room fell silent, everyone wondering how Earth would use its newfound power. No, Kim said finally. That was your way, not ours. He stood and walked to the center of the chamber. Humanity could have responded to deception with destruction. Instead, we offer a different path. On the main display, Kim revealed Earth's proposal, a new galactic alliance based on genuine exchange and cooperation. No species would control another. Technology would be shared openly. Resources would be fairly traded, not extracted. We don't want to replace one empire with another, Kim explained. We want to end the very concept of galactic empire. The negotiations lasted for weeks. The old guard fought to maintain their privileges, while the alliance of Earth and younger species pushed for true reform. In the end, the facts could not be denied: the Confederation's technological dominance had been broken, and with it, their power to dictate terms. 1 year later, Ambassador Jaiwo Park stood in the Great Chamber of the new Alliance headquarters, watching representatives from 60 worlds sign the new Galactic Charter. The document formalized the principles that Earth had fought for: equality, cooperation, and the right of all species to develop without interference. Earth's journey to the stars began with deception, she said in her address. But it continues now with honesty and mutual respect. We held back once because we believed it was right. We unveiled our strength when that trust was betrayed. Now we extend our hands in true partnership. As the ceremony concluded, Director Kim stood by the viewport, watching ships from dozens of worlds moving peacefully through space. Commander Juno Kong joined him, looking out at the stars. Did you ever imagine this outcome when you first overheard those Confederation officials 3 years ago? Juno asked. Kim shook his head. I feared we might need to fight a war for our independence. I never dreamed we would help reshape the galaxy. The Confederation never understood humans, Juno observed. They saw our creativity as dangerous, our adaptability as a threat. They weren't entirely wrong, Kim replied with a small smile. We were dangerous to their system of control, not to peace. Below them, representatives of a species even newer to space travel than humans were arriving for Alliance membership discussions. Their ship design showed influences from both Earth and former Confederation worlds, a visible symbol of the new era of open exchange. Our greatest weapon was never our technology, Kim said quietly. It was our capacity to be righteously angry without becoming cruel, and to offer genuine friendship even after betrayal. He turned from the viewport as Ambassador Park approached with representatives from 3 worlds. There was much work to do in building this new galactic community. So what now? Juno asked. Kim smiled as he moved to greet the new arrivals. Now we do what humans have always done. We explore. We learn. And we make sure no one else has to hold back their potential again.